Hello, everyone. My name is Reverend Dr. Renee Hart. I'm an independent minister. I'm a licensed practitioner for Center for Spiritual Living in Redlands. So we're going to be doing meditation this morning, this Sunday morning. So let's just take a breath and breathe. Sit comfortably in your chair. Move your head. Move your head. Stretch. Stretch. Breathe. Open up your heart. And now it's time for meditation. Take that God breath. Breathe. Mm. As we take this breath, we breathe, knowing that there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life. Breathe. Take that breath and breathe. take that God breath and breathe. Bring your awareness back into this room. Move your head from side to side, fully conscious of where you are. Breathe. Knowing that there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. One more time. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. Breathe that into this meditation. Open up that heart space and say it one last time. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Let's conclude this meditation for this Sunday. Namaste. God bless. I see the God in you as the God in me. God is moved within you as well as moving within me.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in a sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of love. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of love. Now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in a sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of love. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of love. From every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other, yeah. Now look at the person next to you. Say, namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in a sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of love. We come together, yeah, we come together, oh, we come together in the name of love. We come together, yeah, we come together, oh, we come together in the name of love.
Hello, I am Edward Fillion. In this, the final week of November, Centers for Spiritual Living's suggested topic focus is the grateful, cheerful receiver. The grateful and cheerful receiver. Were you expecting, like I was, the topic to be the cheerful giver? You see, because if you, like I am, are familiar with some of the Christian Bible, then possibly you know that famous phrase in 2 Corinthians that goes like this. Each of you should decide in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. So you see, I thought we were going to be talking about being a cheerful giver. This week, however, we're adding to that beautiful and correct idea of being a cheerful giver by saying the same is valid for receiving. You see, giving and receiving, why, they're connected, you might even say. They are the same thing. We can't have one with the other. So good cheer is as essential in receiving as it is in giving. Here's the thing though, some of us are better at giving and others of us are better at receiving, and some of us practice being better at giving to hide the discomfort we feel around receiving, and others of us, well, we receive in a way that, well, to be frank, feels more like demanding or taking. The point is, if you are like me and probably everyone else, there is likely an area in your giving and receiving where each of us can do better. And bringing good cheer in is a clue to getting better. Now, to bring good cheer into your receiving, consider playing with this simple practice. When someone offers you something or life brings something to you, accept it. Smile and say thank you. Even if it is something you don't want or can't use, accept it. Smile and say thank you. You could become a center of divine redistribution and pass the gift on to someone who does want it or need it. Now, obviously, this is an adult exercise and one to be practiced with good sense and caution. At the heart of the practice is this beautiful idea that you and I are in an endless flow, a circular flow of giving and receiving. And if there is anything that you and I are doing to block that flow, especially on the receiving side, bringing good cheer into play by accepting, smiling, and thanking can get things going again. Of course, there is more to it than a smile and a thank you. The content creators for this week ask us to examine our consciousness, our beliefs about receiving with these questions. Where do we position ourselves in the ebb and flow of the universe? More in giving or more in receiving? And have we put ourselves in our awareness in relationship, in a stance of interconnectivity, or are we separate? Are we standing in such a way that we are eclipsing the sunshine from reaching other living beings? Are we too self-focused? Or have we positioned ourselves so that the sunshine washes over us and can still reach others, other living creatures? Have we put ourselves in a position to cheerfully receive good and to make sure others may receive good too by sharing it? For some of us, the answers to the questions may be, well, sometimes I'm open to goodness, sometimes I'm open to receive. Others among us may be in a mindset of, yeah, I'm a cheerful receiver every day. Well, that's wonderful. And yet others among us will recognize that here, this is precisely the place where an opening needs to happen. How do we get there, to that place of being a cheerful receiver? Well, there are many paths. In a session with a licensed prayer practitioner, with a therapist or in a support group, through journaling or meditative practices, with a prayer partner or in a Science of Mind class, by attending Centers for Spiritual Living study group or center. One thing is for sure, though, that what we intentionally welcome into our lives can have a tremendous impact on us. So I invite you to begin today to identify yourself as a cheerful receiver. My blessings to you.
When we are grateful for our blessings, then we are in a state of grace. When we appreciate the small things, big transformation can take place. sound of the ocean in a seashell, sight of the stars in outer space, smell of good food upon the table, touch of a friend when we embrace. When we are grateful for our blessings, then we are in a state of grace. We can recall a sense of wonder, spreading a smile across our face.
As we take this breath, good morning. How are you today on this beautiful Sunday morning? So as we just take that breath, we're just going to breathe. And then knowing this right here, right now, that God is all that there is. Knowing that God's Spirit is moving in us and through us and all around us today. So in this moment, as we take this breath, we breathe. And when I know in this moment that God is perfection, God is harmony, God is love, and in this I know that I am one with God, so that I know that we are one with the universal presence that's moving in us and through us and around us today. So in this day, we bless this day knowing that all is well. All is in balance. All is perfect right now that's moving through us as us right now. And so we send out the highest vibration of loving, light, healing energy to the world right here, right now. Let's take that breath in this silent moment and send the highest vibration of love and light, healing energy to the world. And in this, we're knowing that all is well, all is in divine right order. And in this, we just release our words into this universal law. We know that it's perfect and we know that it is complete. And we'll say, and so it is. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Holly, and I am a member of the board here at Center for Spiritual Living in Redlands, California. This is a reading written by Reverend Melanie McGant. Beautiful people, may the blessings of love be with all people and our sentient family on earth. May we as humans honor every living thing and see the magnificent elements and creations of our blessed Divine One working together for good. May we all awaken from the nightmare of envy, greed, hate, and disdain for each other. May we no longer live in fear or desire power to control and subjugate those who are different. May we work to create bridges of understanding and equity with peace in our hearts, our communities, our nations, and our earth. May we be models of love for our children so that they feel at ease walking as beings of light. Let us breathe and exhale. Now allowing our heart chakra to expand, we say, I am a lighted being of love. I see, reflect, and share love with all around me. We are lighted beings of love. We see, reflect, and share love with all around us. Today we pray that grace will move through us so that our hearts are filled with compassion and kindness. If I or you have offended anyone, let us ask to be forgiven, and let us offer forgiveness for those painful memories caused to us by others. Because we are one in love, integrity and patience become a singular thought. Because I am and you are lighted beings of love, we see, reflect, and share love with all around us. We walk the path of hope and discover joy in every moment as we breathe. I am and you are human. We are learning and becoming, opening to divine understanding and honoring the good potential of all. We believe that peace and prosperity are possible through compassion, cooperation, courage, deep listening, good effort, forgiveness, humility, integrity, kindness, mercy, sincerity, strong purpose, respect, tenacity, understanding, and the gift of love. I am a lighted being of love. I see, reflect, and share love with all around me. We are lighted beings of love. We see, reflect, and share love with all around us. This is our prayer, our hope, our dream, and our reality throughout every universe. Believe, breathe, pray, live, love. Written by Melanie McGant. Thank you. These are the announcements for November 29th. Our Spiritual Principles and Practices class begins this Tuesday, December 1st at 7 p.m. in the Zoom room. In this fun 5-week class, you will discover and learn to use the tools that will enhance your life in a powerful way. A student workbook will be provided. You will need the book, This Thing Called You by Ernest Holmes. The cost is $200 payable in installments. Please contact Reverend Carey at revcarey@cslredlands.org for further information. Join us after service today in our Zoom room for our fellowship connection. This is an informal time of connection, and we are there for about 30 minutes. It's always fun to connect with family and friends. Tonight at 5 p.m., you are invited to join us on Zoom for our Sunday evening connection, where we share our wins, ask for and receive prayer, and give each other virtual hugs. Tonight and every Sunday at 5 p.m. in our Zoom room. Wednesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. is our meditation service on Facebook Live, facilitated by our practitioner, Dr. Reverend Renee Hart. She has been presenting a beautiful evening of meditation and inspiration every Wednesday evening from 7 to 8. See you there. Thank you for being with us and enjoy the service. Thank you.
I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. In a city of strangers, I found a family of friends. No matter what rocks and brambles fill the way, I know that they will stay until the end. I feel a hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see, but on the road to the promised land, this hand will shepherd me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. It's not that I don't want a lot, or hope for more, or dream of more, but giving thanks for what I've got makes me so much happier than keeping score. In a world that can bring pain, I will still take each chance, for I believe that whatever the terrain, our feet can learn to dance, whatever stone life may sling. We can moan or we can sing. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and duly grateful.
And so, good morning. My name is Brother Mark. I'm one of the licensed practitioners at CSL Redlands, and I want to thank our spiritual leader and senior minister, Reverend Carrie Masters, for the opportunity to give today's message online with you. And so it's a pleasure and joy, as always, to speak with you remotely. And soon, and very soon, we'll be together on Zoom starting next week, next Sunday. Tune in and let us see you, let us hear you, and be in community as we transfer these beautiful pre-tape messages that David has done an incredible job with, and we thank him for that, to Zoom, so we can be a little bit more interactive. As it seems, we will be in this format for several more months going into 2021. And so today's talk follows the November 2020 theme, which was given to us by the Spiritually Motivated Social Engagement Committee at CSL. And the monthly theme has been Living as Compassionate Conduits. And today's weekly theme is The Grateful and Cheerful Receiver. And so I wanted to start with a quote that I thought was beautiful. And it's from The Science of Mind text by Holmes. Many of you have that. And if you don't, I encourage you to pick that up. And it's from page 133. And it says, man's conscious thought, acting through law, may change any condition in his experience, provided he can clearly conceive of such conditions being changed. Let me read that again. Man's conscious thought, acting through law, may change any condition in his experience, provided he can clearly conceive of such conditions being changed. There's no limit to the law. Limitation is not inherent in the law, but is a result of our inability to embody the truth and constructively use the law. Man has at his disposal, in what he calls his subjective mind, a power that is limitless. This is because he is the one with the whole on the subjective side of life. And so in today's talk, I want to cover a couple things. It's been a very difficult time to be human, don't you think? Raise your hand at home if you think so. I think so. I mean, a grateful and cheerful receiver during a pandemic is a challenge, to say the least. You know, the other day I was out running an errand and the holiday music is already blaring through the malls, right? I went to South Coast Plaza in Orange County and it's already blaring. And so you may not be ready to hear it, but it's around us now, right? This idea that can we really fake our way through the holidays? You made it past Thanksgiving. How did you do that? It was a challenge, right? I mean, many of us reduced the sizes or skipped completely traveling, gathering in groups, right? Some of us are still taking the advice, right, to wear masks, triple layer masks, right? That's a choice that we've had for many months. And it seems like it's not a lot to ask to me. I'm just giving my opinion. It doesn't seem like an awful lot to ask. If everybody had done it, perhaps there would have been an entire different outcome. And think about all of this from a science of mind perspective, right? Some people, if you feel that it's too much to ask for you to wash your hands often, stay physically distant by 6 or more feet, try to not congregate, right, in groups, certainly wear the mask when you're out, not able to be physically distant, right? It doesn't seem like a lot to ask. And if you look at all the areas that have the most and severe transmission rates and cases, some of them as high as 52%. Check out the Dakotas, where they want to proclaim that wearing a mask is too much to ask and that it invades on your personal and human freedom. I mean, does it? What if we were doing it for not only ourselves, but for another? It doesn't have to be for ourselves. And so today's talk title, I will admit to you, was a challenge for me, right? Again, I'll repeat it, the grateful and cheerful receiver. So what I'd like to do is make it real. I want to make it real for me, hoping that it makes it real for you. And so the only way I can think to do that is to be completely honest and candid with you. And I think it's okay not to be so cheerful, right? If you're not feeling really cheerful, I'm going to say I think it's kind of abusive to fake being cheerful. The universe knows, God knows, Spirit knows. The wisdom of the ages knows when we're being authentic, right? When we're being vulnerable, when we're being in alignment with our true nature and our true self. If you're not feeling cheerful, it's really hard then to be grateful, right? And today's talk title, The Grateful and Cheerful Receiver. And so I'd like to try to uncover some tools or ways that would encompass ideas, spiritual tools for our transformation, for our daily living and survival as human beings, right? We're spiritual beings, but we're having a human experience, and we're not really trapped in our bodies, but kind of. Like a lot of us think we're the body that we see in the mirror, but we all know by now that we're so much more than that. We're energy fields. We're fields of awareness, right? We're actually the divine incarnate on earth. We are the hands of God. Just say with me at home, I am the hands of God. Yes, you are. And say with me at home, I am the voice for God. Say it again, if you're willing. I am the voice for God. Yes. And so asking you to be grateful and cheerful is a big ask. I'm not unwilling to explore the question. In fact, the material that was provided was pretty good, and I added material, as I always do, that I feel comes from my heart and my intuition to be able to speak with you about. And so to break down the three ideas that they wanted in the material to share was, are you ready to receive? That's one. Are you worthy of the connection? That's two. And three, what are you willing to become? And so let's explore them one at a time. I love the "Are you ready to receive?" because when I was being taught as a practitioner in 1996 to the year 2000, "Are you ready to receive?" was also a shortcut or an acronym for the 5 steps of affirmative prayer. Are you ready to receive, right? Recognition, unification, realization, thanksgiving, and release. And so I love that. And so "Are you ready to receive?" means only what you're able to handle. Right? If we were a container, if we were a cup, right? Is the cup half full or half empty? I don't know. Whatever you say it is. So if we were a vessel or a cup, only that which you allow in can come in, first of all, because we have free will. And also, there is going to come a time where it overflows. Now, for our spiritual beings, we're limitless, we're eternal, we're immortal. There's nothing that can hurt, harm, or endanger in us in any way. In the physical, it's a little different, right? Can something happen where we have a human issue with our physical body temple? Yes. Right? But in the absolute with a capital A and the absolute truth with a capital A and a capital T, we are unlimited in our essence. We are unlimited in the way we are created, and we have to allow, by being open and willing and receptive, to become transmitters for more and more and more of our good to flow in, through, and as our very beingness and our very life. And so the real question is, are you ready to receive? We don't need to make this very difficult. Actually, you don't even need to be cheerful or grateful to receive it. Let me just say right now, you don't have to be cheerful or grateful to receive it, because it's the truth. In a spirit, the spiritual truths cannot be changed regardless of our opinions about that, right? It doesn't, the universe gives to, and there's a scriptural line, right? It rains on the just and the unjust. It doesn't matter. It's impersonal, right? It doesn't say you are worthy, Brother Mark, but at home, this person's not, right? Or it doesn't say, Brother Mark, you're not worthy, and this person at home is. Right? It's equally available to all of us for our willingness to expand into a greater awareness of the truth of who we are. And that's really what I want to invite us to do today. So the second part was, are we worthy of the connection? And many people know a spiritual teacher and mentor named Brene Brown, B-R-E-N-E, Brown. And she says, and there's a quote, and I'll give it, that only about 20% of us are really living with our whole hearts. And when she says our whole hearts, she means people who came into the relationship with themselves where they were deeply believed that they were worthy, right? They, regardless of their circumstances, they believed they were worthy. And what Brene says is they were aware. They recognized shame, and they knew how to deal with it. They recognized vulnerability, and they were willing to feel it rather than ignore or numb it. And again, I thank Brene Brown for that wisdom, because the holidays are a perfect time, right, to try to ignore real feelings. You may have to see or be in touch with people who trigger, I'll just go that in quotes, you to behave a certain way or to try to flee, right? Or some people may try to use a substance to suppress and ignore and hide and run from the reality and feelings that happen during certain holidays. And they come annually, don't they, as a test for us to see how are we doing. Sometimes we can look at the holidays or any event really and say, it's a test for us. It's a litmus test for us to see how are we spiritually doing. And it takes our spiritual temperature, right? Whether we want to take it under the tongue, or in another place, it's going to take our temperature and we're going to be going, wow, right? This is how I'm really doing. And so this idea of being worthy is really an important one, and I want us to know that Spirit doesn't judge us. That you were created in the image and likeness of God. You are a masterpiece of the divine. There's nothing that can be added to you. There's a scriptural line as well, right? That nothing can be added to your cubit or your stature that is needed, right? There, you can't. If you're a masterpiece, who would touch that? Nothing. Nobody would. It's for ours to accept and embrace, and when we look in the mirror, see that, yes, I am divine. And so if you're willing to say that with me at home now, let's say it together. I am divine. I am divine. I am divine. Yes, and that feels good, doesn't it? Because it's the truth about you that you're saying to yourself. And so how good that is to know this and to feel this and to embody this and to be with this. And so further exploring the content of today's talk, I wanted to ask, when we're speaking about worthy of connection, I just had a visual that came to me when we were moving recently, and it's these wires. And see, they have a connection at the end, right? So are we simple? Is it simple for us to connect? Or are some of us more complicated and complex, where we have like 3 different connections and portals? Do you even know? And so part of the tools of science of mind teaching is that turning within to know, right? That idea of meditation, that idea of practicing the 5 steps of affirmative prayer treatments, that idea of signing up. Right now is a perfect time to sign up for class. Reverend Carey is going to be offering many classes coming up. And so I encourage you to do that. They're coming up right here in December, right for you. And because of you, that they're here for your learning. And so the idea of these portals is sometimes, have you ever had to unplug things, electronics at home? And if indeed we're energy beings, maybe we use this time to become a more grateful and cheerful receiver, to indeed unplug, right? Spiritually unplug. Sometimes it's a good idea. I've had some friends I've seen that they say they're giving up their phone for like the weekend. Okay, to not check social media, to not check emails, even if they're work related, to just really give yourself 1, 2, 3 days, however many days you feel you need, to unplug so you're able to recharge, right? Because we are energetic frequencies, we are energetic beings. And so indeed we need to control, alt, delete, right? Ourselves. Control, alt, delete, control, alt, delete, turn it off. Some people I know, like Holly, might count to 10 and then turn it back on, and she swears you can get right back in the Zoom call that way, right? Put in your password, change your password, right? Some people may know your password, and if they're not serving you for your highest and best good, it's time to control, alt, delete them, right? And change your password, right? So the idea, when you see wires at your house, check the portals. You don't have to make them complex, right? And the only real portal you need is to know that you're divinely sourced, supplied, maintained, sustained. It's true. And I know that this is so. And so the last part of today's talk is, what are you willing to become? What are you willing to become? And let's keep it within the theme. What are you willing to become and welcome in order to become more grateful? What are you willing to welcome and to become more grateful? What are you willing to welcome to become more grateful and cheerful, right? These are all individual questions, and I know that you know the answer to those things. And I'm encouraging you to do those things and to take those action steps to have a more authentic and vulnerable and real experience. Because what I do know about how all this works is we can't fake out spirit. We can't fake out God. We can't fake out the divine intelligence that makes order out of chaos. It knows. It, with a capital I, knows with a capital K. And so I'm encouraging us during this time. It might be something so simple like singing a song at home, like exercise. Let me say that again. Exercise. Even as they're closing the gyms, it becomes harder. I had to go walk. I had to go find a place where I wouldn't get lost and walk, 8 or 16 times back and forth on a block in and out of our complex. It's not as fun as going to the gym. I had to bring the barbells to do weights at home to continue to exercise, right? Because my body knows that I'm not doing what I need to do in order to take care and properly nourish. How about what we eat? Nourish, right? If we're a temple of God, right? If we're the embodiments of God on earth in the flesh, what are we putting inside of ourselves? What are we eating? What are we drinking? What are we reading? Right? What are we listening to online? What are we allowing in our social media and space? Who are we allowing to influence us and have influence over us? And it's interesting because what are you willing to welcome or become is a question that's often used in the visioning process. And Reverend Carrie invited us to join her on, I believe, the second and fourth Saturdays, where she leads the CSL Redlands vision. And so join in on that via Zoom and see what it's like, because many of the questions that are asked in a visioning process are, what are you willing to release? And as we enter this time of the year, that's the end of the year, we often want to not carry with us anything that no longer serves us for our highest and best good into the next year. We want 2021 to be incredible. There is really just about nothing from 2020 that we would need to carry with us to make 2021 miraculous. Right? And so it's this time of reflection where I really know and I trust that you will find what's perfect for you to become a more vulnerable, a more authentic, a more real, grateful, and cheerful receiver. And so I just couldn't thank you anymore for your willingness to listen and hear and be open to receive a blessing this day, a transformation, a healing. It's all yours. It's all yours. It's all yours. It always has been, and it always will be. And so how grateful I am to each of you, and send you love and light and blessings of transformative healing, restoration, rejuvenation. I'm sending you miracles, right? Whatever it's for, if it's for a healing and health and vitality miracle, I call it forth right here and right now for you. I call it forth for our all sentient beings, including our fur babies at home. During this time of creating the message, I got a call from my sister Cara, and we bless her fur baby Lacey, knowing that where Lacey is, God is, and her brother Shiloh, that he'll be fine. So we call forth for miracles of healing and health and wholeness and vitality and vigor for each of us individually and all of us collectively in the entire world. We call forth for the vaccines that are being created, right, to work. Can you imagine that reports are 90 to 95% efficacy? That's remarkable. We call forth for the continued rollout to have a peaceful and loving transition for our government as well, and for all of our politicians. We call that forth with the power of our intention and our word, and the cumulative power of our intention and word as part of the one, right? The one mind, the one life, and the one beingness. And so I know I have a closing quote, and I'm going to go to that and read that now. It's from Consider the Birds by Debbie Blue. And the idea is how we look at power, and maybe we should rethink how we look at power. It goes like this. Maybe we worship power, try our hardest to project strength and invulnerability because we're afraid of something we don't need to be afraid of. something we would do better to embrace, like the vulnerability at the core of our humanness. Perhaps being open to this is precisely what makes peace and love and cooperation possible. It is this openness to vulnerability that allows us to receive God. And today's affirmation is going to be written on the screen. I am going to repeat it and ask you at home to repeat it with me line by line. I stand with my entire body. I stand with my entire beingness. I stand with my entire heart. Open now to divine right goodness. I affirm and declare divine right action operates freely in me, as me, through me, with ease and grace. I know that there is nothing that separates me from the good river of life that flows through me. I give freely and also receive freely.
Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shall not be ashamed. To turn and turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shall not be ashamed. To turn and turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. To turn and turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right.
And so now that this service is complete, it's our time of conscious giving. And so I invite you to consider tithing and being a contributor to the evolution and steadfastness of the viability of CSL Redlands as we move into 2021. And I thank you for being a contributor to CSL Redlands. It's vital. We count on your contributions on a weekly basis. And in order to give easily and freely, which is the key to giving, right? We learned today from today's message that we're unlimited beings of potentiality, right? And so the more we expand and grow, the more we can allow for spirit to move in, through, and as our very life and our very beingness. And so part of that is indeed giving contributions of financial, cash, and money. And so there are easy ways to give. You can give on our Donate Now button that you'll see at the top of where you're watching on Facebook Live. You can give through our PayPal link, which is on our website, www.cslredlands.org. Or you can give through our links that you'll see for Venmo and for Zelle. And so we thank you so much, and we know that CSL Redlands will continue to thrive and grow and prosper because it's due to your givingness. And so for that, we're so very grateful and very deeply thankful. And so it's that time, if you have your tithe and your gift or your offering near you, and you wish to place it or hold it near your heart, I invite you to say our offering blessing with me line by line, and it goes like this. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world, and it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice, a spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice, a spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. You're a blessing to the world.
And so now I invite you to join me for our closing healing affirmative prayer. And if you're a licensed practitioner at home or a licensed minister, I ask you to rise, literally asking you now to get up off your chair, get up off the couch, and stand with me and hold this consciousness and hold this truth. And so let's just together take in that deep breath that is God's breath. And let us exhale and release anything and everything that does not match God's perfect breath. And as we return to our normal breathing, we're reminded that the breath of God is at hand right here and right now as my very life. That indeed the breath of God is here and right now for you as your very life. And again, we exhale out anything and everything that does not match that perfect divine breath. And as we return to our normal breathing, we're reminded that this power and this presence, this love, this grace of God that's everywhere present, is here and now. It's in this place, it's in this space, it's in me, it's in you, perfectly. That there's only perfect God and perfect man. Just say at home together with me, perfect God, perfect, and tell me your name. Yes, perfect God, perfect Brother Mark. Perfect God, perfect you. Yes. And it is from this place of perfection that I continue to speak this word of truth, knowing that right where you are, abundance and cash and the divine right money that's needed to sustain and support, maintain and expand you is provided, because it is Spirit that made you. It is God that made you in His own image and likeness, and therefore knows before you even know, before I even know, what is in our deepest, most heart's desire, and fulfills it for our moving out of the way of its having its full sway in, through, and as our very life. And so I call it forth now. I call forth that anything that is heretofore blocked or hindered, deferred, denied, or delayed, your highest and best good for cash and money and abundance and wealth and health, and perfect joy and prosperity and wisdom and divine intelligence, divine right romantic relationships, divine right family relationships, divine right friendships. I call forth this peace that passes human understanding to surround anything in the human that happens that we don't understand, anything that appears chaotic or out of order. For I know that in the universal truth that there's only a divine intelligence and wisdom, and I call it forth to make its way known right here and right now to us and to me and the human. Let it make more sense to me now. Let me be filled with your grace and your intelligence at a deeper and wiser and new way than ever before in this moment, so that I can understand and comprehend and deal with the human condition as a spiritual being, having an experience in this plane at this moment in time. And so I call forth for every organ, action, function, cell, and fiber of your being, every corpuscle, every blood vessel to radiate, glisten, and glow with the divine health and perfect intelligence that is the God intelligence and wisdom that I know has its full sway in, through, and as my life and in, through, and as your life right here and right now. I call forth for every prayer request that has been uttered out loud, that has been called into our prayer ministry, that has been called into any of our practitioners, that has been known, and those that are unknown, that are on the hearts of each person watching within the sound of my voice, listening. You too are within the reach and grasp of God to say yes, yes to your highest and best good right here and right now. So together with me at home, just let's affirm yes, 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 yes. If it's for my highest and best good, if it's for your highest and best good, I call it forth to reach us now with no delay. And for us to be able to achieve and receive a demonstration, a manifestation, a healing, a revelation, and that transformation that always awaits our yes. So yes, 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 yes. Feeling so good about the word spoken. I just have a grateful heart. Breathe with me. Even more gratitude in our heart space. Even more gratitude in our heart space. And we let this good just magnify into the overload. Yes, right here and right now. It's done. It's done because I've spoken this word of truth and you've said yes to it. So we have two or more gathered, and we have activated that same consciousness that was in Jesus Christ when he said to the person on the street to get up and walk. Jesus Christ knew that that person would indeed and could indeed and will indeed and did indeed get up and walk. So it's that same consciousness that makes everything manifest right here and right now. So our job is simply to walk around with, as Holmes would say, the great expectancy that it's true, that it's done, and that it's so. And so together I invite you to say at home with me, and so it is. And so it is.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fail. Let me learn from all the ways I fail. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing. Let me share the good that's overflowing. And let me care for those around the world. Let me care for those around the world. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way.
And so now that our Sunday experience has concluded, you're invited to join us in the Zoom room by following the links and the instructions that you'll see. So it's simple. Just come on in and say hi. You can turn on your video, you can see others, you can hear others, and check in and connect. We're usually in the Zoom room following our Sunday service for about 30 minutes or so. So come on in, say hello. Know that you're never alone. You're always loved. You're always completely sourced, supplied, and maintained by the power and the presence, the love, and the grace of God.